Okay, folks, what we've got here is a demonstration of how to set the links with your photo gallery. Now, I know that you guys have been struggling a little bit with this. That's why I'm doing this video here to show you how it's done. Now, on my index page, I've obviously got more photos than what we need. Some of you have been having problems with the photos not lining up right, that you get photos that on the page there's maybe one or two. The problem is, once again, how CSS works and the box model works. The way that things happen is when we're setting things to float the way that we have here, they line on up. Now, if we have something here that's a little bit too long, a little bit too high, what it's going to do is it's going to make it so that the next line can't line up. And so halfway along there, the page is going to break. It's going to be too far one way or the other, and then it'll wrap around to the other section. Now, on my gallery, I've managed to arrange the photos to avoid this just a little bit. However, there are two ways we can go about this. We can go back to Photoshop and we can resize all the photos, or as I showed you in class, we can do a little bit of what's called destructive editing. Now, this sounds really scary. Actually, it kind of is. Because what you're doing when you're doing that is you are actually trimming the pictures and there's no backsies. Once you've cropped something in Dreamweaver, that's it. Those pixels are gone. Now, does that mean you've destroyed your photo? No. Over here, you've got the original photo. You have the original photos. You can always resize it and spit another one out if you have completely messed it up and cropped it to the point that basically there's only one pixel left. Okay? So let me show you how to crop a photo in Dreamweaver. This is a type of skill that might come in handy if at the last minute you're handed a web page, things aren't working right, you need to do some very quick and dirty cropping on an image to just get this page up on the web on deadline when you're working at a news organization. So let's take a look at this one right here. These photos here, they're a little bit too big. Everything else in this row seems to be about 95 pixels. So let's just crop this one down. Down here you see this little cropping tool. Click on it. It puts up this little error message on the screen saying, oh my God, you're about to do something. You can undo it by doing Edit Undo. Okay. But once you start working on another image, it's going to be done. Okay. So right now we've got it. Look down here, it says 119. Now you drag from the bottom here till we get to about 95. There we go. And then you hit the return key and it's cropped. Same thing with this little rascal over here. Let's just crop it. Okay. Here we go. Make sure that we're not cropping the sides because we don't want it any thinner. We just don't want it as tall. Okay, so we're going to take her down once again to about 95 pixels. Hit the return key. And off we go. Now, all of a sudden, that has messed with my layout. Oh no, it's once again because the photos are all different sizes here. Okay, so if you're going to have to deal with something like that, you may have to drag and rearrange the photos. Now, if you just do that here in the design view and you're like, oh, okay, I can drag this photo around. Hey, wait a minute, what's going on? How come, oh my God, my photos are, what, oh, see all these little things here? These are the P tags. We're dragging the photos out and we're leaving these little P tags and it's screwing up everything. If you go to split view, you'll see what's been going on. All of a sudden, these photos here, when you click on the photo, you'll see it change and it's all inside of one P tag or no P tag in this case. So what we're going to do, Control Z is your friend, undo, 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 undo. Okay. Well, actually, we can redo that trimming there a little bit there. All right. So now that we have everything trimmed and correctly aligned, more or less, I can realign and retrim all these other photos if I really want to. But once we get to that point, we're going to get to the point of organizing things. Now, look over here in the Files panel. This is a little bit of a mess. What's going on? I have done some arranging. I've gotten my images into, like the 600 pixel images into one folder, and I've got the thumbnails into the other folder. But what's the problem here? All my originals, they're still messing up the images folder. It's causing me a little bit of a problem. So once I start doing the links, once I twirl this open, all of a sudden I've got all these images on top of each other, and it makes it a little hard to work all at once. Here's a little trick. When you move things around, when you move things in and out of folders in Dreamweaver, it's going to ask you if you want to have Dreamweaver automatically reset all the links for you. Okay? If you go out to Finder and you start reorganizing everything, Dreamweaver has no idea what you've done, and all the links that you've done are going to break. That's how you can wind up, if you start reorganizing things, you'll wind up with like blank spaces in there where your photos are supposed to be, because Dreamweaver's looking and it's like, hey man, this stuff used to be in the images. Now it's in images 600 pixels. Well, hell, you didn't tell me that. So what you have to do is inside of Dreamweaver, you just right click and you say new folder. You start a new folder, and let's just call this one Originals, because that's where we're going to be putting the original photos, right? Okay, so let's just take all the original photos and drag them into the Originals folder. And let's do that again with these other originals just to clean up the view a little bit. Drag it on down into the Originals folder, and off we go. Now we can twirl that closed. We can twirl that closed, as I say, and now we have a little bit cleaner site. Now, when we start doing the links to the pages, it helps again if you have the pages in their own photo, okay? This can get a little complex if you're doing a big site. If you're going to have a site that has news, and then off of the front page it has features site, and then off of the features site it has local stories, national feature stories, you can start having a lot of subdirectories down here. This is why organization is a real must in web design, because if your site isn't organized, you can start losing stuff, and then you wind up having to look for it. Luckily in Dreamweaver there's a little search box here, but if you're going back to a site that you designed a while ago and you're looking for a page or a photo or something else like that, you can wind up driving yourself a little bit crazy until you find it. Okay, now that we have all of our photos sized correctly and our photo files more or less in the correct place, it's time to start setting the links. Let's take a look at how we do this. There are a number of different ways that we can do this. I'm going to show you two quick ones. We can do it manually. We can type it in that way. We can navigate using a file folder option, or we can use the pick whip in Dreamweaver. That's the one that I was trying to show you in class. It is very quick. It's an intuitive way to set the links. Okay. All right. So right here we are on Dave's photo gallery. This is the index page. And then we also did the gallery template page. Now, let me do a couple of things here before we proceed. First of which is to resize the damn window. Dreamweaver keeps doing that. Anyway, up here at the title where it says Untitled Document, let's change that. Let's go to Dave's photo gallery. And then the second thing we're going to do is we're going to change this entire thing here to a link. Most pages, most index pages, have a means on every page. Excuse me, most interior pages have a way to go back to the index page. All right, so we've defined this. All of a sudden down here, oh my God, this looks totally different. Notice over here, CSS, HTML. Click on HTML. Yes, this is our old familiar playground. Down here, link. This will allow you to set the link. We have two little icons here. You can point to a file or you can browse for the file. If you browse for the file, you look for photo gallery, you hit index.html. That's where it's going to go from now on. Click off of it. Now you can see it's changed color. It's blue now because that's a followed link. The other way you can do it is with the little pick whip. And that's the one where you go over here and, uh-oh, we can't find it. We're going to have to go and scroll around. There it is, index.html, and that's the second way of doing it. Okay, so now when we look at the gallery template, the source code here, we've got a hypertext link, ahref equals index.html, quote marks, close the brackets, always close the brackets, the name of it, and then we're closing the link. So what that means is that every page that we do now in this photo gallery is going to have a link back to the index page. All right, neat. Let's start spinning out multiple pages. We're going to go to Dreamweaver. We're going to do a save as. We're going to call it Gallery 1. Very inventive, I know. Saving it where? Photo gallery? Let's take a look at photo gallery. I'll have to spin this down a little bit. And there I have a folder called Gallery Pages. Once again, it's organization. You can see I've got a couple other HTML pages in there that I've already been doing. All right. So save as Gallery 1, update the links. Yes. Okay. So now we're going to Dave's photo gallery. That is Gallery 1. We've got to set the links in here for the photo and for the forward and back button. All right, first of all, for the photo, let's go back to our index page. The first picture is of the guy in the spacesuit. Go to our first gallery page. It's a moon. How do we change this? Okay, we look at this, we click on the item, and down here we see image source. Okay, so let's scroll around a little bit here, get rid of the thumbnails, we'll twirl that up. We want to look for the 600 pixel images. I have named them consecutively numbered. I also have the numbers after them. You can do the numbers before them. It depends upon your naming convention. If you are renaming them, once again, you have to rename them inside of Dreamweaver or you're going to break the links. So for the source, let's go to image 1. Do the little pick whip over here. Hey, look, the image just changed. Next, to change the link here or to set a link on this, you can double click on it so that you see that it's defined. Okay, see here in the source code, you see that we've got this defined there. And then we also go over here and we say set a link. Where are we going to set this link to? We can do it with a drop-down menu. Let's try the index page. Hey, look, that's one way of doing it as well, or we could do it with the pick whip or the file. Next, we're going to have to go to Gallery 2. Hey, should we set that link yet? No. Why? Because we don't have a Gallery 2 page yet. Do we save Gallery 2 off of Gallery 1? You could. Last thing I want you to do on this page, write a caption. Taken on the moon during a moonwalk. Hey, no big deal here. Okay, so we go back to our gallery template. We do a file. We do a save as. We do Gallery 2.